Good morning, traders. It is the S&P Futures, Micro Futures pre-market prep trade plan for 7/8/2019. How the time is flying. It's a little bit after 5 a.m. and we're looking at the weekly chart. We're going to do our top-down analysis. Beginning of the week here, we had some weakness overnight. It sold down into this first node right here and is now getting a pretty good little bounce back off that node. And I think if we were to come up over the kind of like this 86, 87 area, that you would be pretty bullish for the day. On the daily chart, our ATR is at 2846. That gives us an extreme of 3012.50 and 2957. So we're looking for trades in between the ATR today. That's the extreme of the move based on the ATR. You can see we're inside this other bar that's already had a nice little bounce. We've traded down into this volume node right here, this first volume node, and we're starting to test this. And if we have weakness, then you can kind of expect it to kind of test like the 79, and then it would drop down and test the 76 area, and then keep on going. But your good volume, where you kind of want to go for maybe the longer trades, the bigger trades, it's going to be down here at 67, and at the extreme of 57 down here against these nodes. May not trade into the point of control, may just trade to the top of the volume node where the bulk of volume is, like 61 and 68. But this is your kind of your range for the day right here. You can see that we have a lot of little volume nodes in here, and you would expect to get bounces off of all of this on the way down if we have any weakness. And on the upside, you have this nice little 90, 95, and then you have a pretty good one right at the top at 3,000. So, we're kind of right in the middle, trying to make a decision on which way we're going to go for the day. Here's the 240, and again, here's that nice 67 level of volume. So this is kind of like your buy the dip location right here at this point. Like I said, we've already tested the kind of the top of this volume node, so I could expect it to maybe trade down and test the top of this volume node at 68, but somewhere 68, 67 is going to be kind of the level that we're looking at to get a lot of support. There's quite a bit of trading right in here, and then if it breaks through, it would go all the way down here and probably test 62, which is this gap right here. Usually you test the top of the volume node. You can test the point of control, but then you usually test the bottom of and it's that stair step, right, that you get that pattern that's we define as trend, where it keeps on testing each location as it goes down, right? 60 minutes, you can see that I kind of added a few low lines right here, because you do have the bulk right here. When this traded down previously, it tested the top of this node, and it's pretty clear on this chart, how much support you had right across there. And then if we come back down, I would expect it to exceed that. And there's a couple levels in this little support area that I would expect to be tested. And then the upside, nothing to write home about, but you do have this 3,000 area, which is the line between this lower node and this upper node, which I think would be a good location if you want to try and do a short and get a couple points out of. you know, there's no real bulk up here. You got a little bit right across the top right here at 29.95, which is this point right here, but it's pretty thin. It's pretty thin. Just kind of showing you what I had already kind of plotted out on the chart, going back from the back. So this was the previous trading, and it carried through, and I had just shown this because we got a little bounce off of it right here, but I'll remove those lines. But I wanted to show you how the bulk of this volume back here had played out last night when the market opened and was supporting it. Here's the levels up above. So you can see this 94 right here was the initial test of the market, and then sold off. You've got the bulk right here, 92, which is your point of control in this cluster right here. And then in this cluster, we're up here already testing it. It looks like we had a little pull off from that. There was a big seller sitting right here, and he's trying to hold this at the bottom of the profile. So we've tested the bottom of the profile right here, and now I'm going to expect that this is going to trade actually across and go up to 87. So, and then you can see that we're only profiling up to this point right here, and here was your point of control, and that held the market right here at the bottom, and that's where you got the bounce from. So looking down, so if we come back up over this, right, I think that's a pretty positive. This is the 87 that we kind of talked about. I think we get up above 87, then we're going to start stair stepping up and have a little bit of strength here. You do have a level, right? You know, if you follow your first kind of minor level here is at 80. So you could look for a trade right there. They'll want to take that because that would give you a higher low, and so you know, just to follow the kind of the pattern of if you're bullish or whatever, and you're looking for a kind of a bull trend today, you want the higher low, and the higher low usually happens, you know, right at this little section right here. And then moving back a little bit into this volume right here, you've got two levels right here. You've got the 76 that we've already talked about, and then you've got 74, which is a little bit lower. So, you know, you could put a trade on right here, and then if you had to, if it fell a little bit farther, you could put a second contract or something like that right here, and then hopefully you'd, you know, get a nice move out of that if the first level doesn't hold. So just a way to trade that with two levels right there. And then down below, this is where the bulk of the volume is. So you can see the profile here. This profile lines up nicely with the top of this profile right here at 69. This is actually like 68 right here, 68.50. And then you have the bulk of your volume right here at 67. And then the test down here at the bottom is going to be either 29.60.25 or 29.57.75, and that's kind of like the range extension for the day. So you do have a shelf right here at 62, but that would be quite a bit of weakness. There's a pretty big gap in here too. Let's see, 67 to 58. So you have a 10-point gap. That would be the bottom of the profile right there at 62.50. And you have gaps right here, and it matches up with that structure. So, and that would give you again the pattern of a higher low in a bigger time frame picture. So might be something to look at. Symmetry with the market here. You can see I just carried over the lines that I already had. and they were working really nice. Tapped both sides of the 100% range extension right here. And so I'm just going to leave these in place and see how they play out. They actually tie up. Here's 68 right here. We talked about 67 on the other chart. And here's 63. And I think we talked about 63 on the other chart too. 62, 63. It's that gap right there. So we'll see how the symmetry lines kind of work out with the 100% range extensions. How would I trade today? Basically, I'm looking at this area and how it behaves this morning. If it gets up above, then I'm going to expect it to kind of maybe continue up and be bullish and maybe make a new all-time high. If it can't defeat this level right here and we start to trade down, I think we start to stair step all the way back down until we get into the bulk of the volume down here. So either one of these, just because we've already kind of tested into this area, that it may go a little bit lower and test the bottom of this volume node. But I would be looking, to get long somewhere down here in this volume node right here, 67, or potentially, the shelf right here at 62, 57. You have more volume down here, but it's kind of outside the range extreme. So I think we could test the bottom of this again if we can't get up above this. So you would have trades basically all the way down, and if you can, if it starts to move down, use your volume profile, and let's do it this way. So like use your volume profile on a smaller time frame type of thing right here. And give that a second to, so you're looking for the bounce to trade back up into, like it falls through, looking for a bounce to come back up into the volume profile and then get on board and go the other direction with it. So if you have, stair steps going down, that's how you want to try and get on board and take the trade the other direction. So just to give you a trade idea. So if we start to trade down here, you're going to have a pretty good, can't get it to stop. You're going to have a pretty good shuffle volume right here. So if it goes down and bounces back up, you may want to take this and, trade it to the downside. And that's how you would try and get on the board the trend. If it was falling, you'd let it fall through and then come back, let it test it, and then get on board. And if it doesn't hold, then you would get out, right? So if you like the analysis, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the question section below. And I hope you have a good day trading, and I will see you at the end of the day for the chart review. Take care.